Hello everyone, this is week 4 of term 2 of our SMMC Intermediates class. Now by this point you will obviously know that we've gone into level 2 as a country and that schools will open on Monday the 18th. Schools will be open for everyone is what I mean. This doesn't automatically apply to SMMC because it's an out-of-hours education program, technically speaking. So what I understand is we need to wait until the Ministry of Education says we're all good to come back. At the moment, what I understand from our music director is that we should be able to come back at the earliest by this weekend, which is, so in other words, Saturday the 23rd. Alright, but please wait for confirmation from Art Brisset, the musical director, before doing anything else. Okay. To be honest, also we need to make sure that we can run our classes according to the stated public health guidelines, right? And so that we can keep all of you guys safe and ourselves safe while we're teaching, right? There's that. I do want to say, as much as I do want to see all of you guys and hear how you're playing and how you yourselves are going, if you know that that either you or someone in your family is immunocompromised or at a higher risk and you feel uncomfortable about coming into a class where, you know, we're blowing a lot and we're in fairly close range of each other, that's okay if you just want to wait until we're further down, until we're in level 1. If you don't want to come to class, that is okay, just let me know, alright? And I will happily try to sort out an alternative arrangement for you. You know, I think as a country we're doing pretty well, and guidelines seem to be pretty sensible to me. So just hold on and wait for confirmation about whether or when we're going to start up with in-person classes again, and just know that when they do, we'll do everything we can to keep you all safe. All right. So, the theme for today's class is practice and performance. So, I would expect you guys to be practicing, you know, 2 or 3 practice sessions a week, preferably 3, okay? But the practice sessions don't need to be long, alright? I would say half an hour is plenty at this stage, if it's effective, thoughtful practice. By that I mean that you're not just playing through pieces you already know and not actually doing the homework. Haha. Okay. So, how do we make our practice sessions effective? Firstly, it's kind of like a sports practice, or when you go to the gym, you want to warm up first, right? Because what we're doing is actually physical. It's requiring our muscles to work. It's just we're not working out our guns, right? We're working out these muscles, the facial muscles, and also our respiratory muscles, the muscles that help us breathe in and breathe out, right? And these are muscles that, to be honest, most people don't need to use in as specific and unique a way as we do as flute players, right? So it's quite important that we warm up and get our muscles, these muscles, used to working in this way, okay? So, the best way to start off with a warm-up is long notes, alright? Long notes get these muscles starting to work, also gets us to listen, starts us listening to how we actually sound, and gets our respiratory muscles going, but it's not too hard on the brain, right? All you have to do is hold a B, and then maybe a B flat, maybe an A, right? Just it's getting you going. And then it's good to start off with some scales. That gets your fingers going, and that if you're doing them with different articulation patterns, if you're slurring or tonguing, then that gets your tongue working. So let's just do that now. Let's do some long notes. Let's play a long B. See if you can beat me. Haha. Alright, so deep breath, breathing properly using the correct technique. So ready. Whew. 23 seconds. Okay, now I hope that you take the chance to go back and listen to how I sounded and assess my tone for me. Okay, we've talked about tone before, right? So think about, when you listen to me, think about whether I sounded clear, whether it sounded focused, whether it was stable, and whether you think I was in tune. Right? Those are 4 major elements of tone. Now I know for sure there was a point where I was not stable. Alright? Okay, see if you can hear where that was before. And the reason why I wasn't stable was because the airstream wasn't coming out in this consistent stream, right? It had to go, okay, right. Cool. Scales. Let's do scales. So let's do F major, 1 octave only, in quadrants, toned. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Alright, let's do G major, same kind of deal, toned, 1 octave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and let's do C major. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's always good to do the scales by heart. Personally, I think learning them off by heart is less like rigmarole. You don't have to get out like another book that has scales in it and you don't have to read every note. You can just do it having it stored in your head and stored in your fingers, because your fingers will know what to do, and stored in your ears. Your ears will hear whether you're doing the right notes. If you can do that, it's less faffing around with other things, but also it helps your other playing as well, to train your fingers to know your scale so well that when you see a little bit of a scale in a piece, they just know what to do. Okay, cool. Now, so in terms of practice sessions, long notes, then scales, then you might look at a study. So I have uploaded a study numbered 27 into the Google Drive folder. It's by Giuseppe Garibaldi, who did many studies for flute. He's from the 19th century. Incidentally, that was pretty much when the flute started to take off. Before the 19th century, flutes were made out of wood. They sounded much more like recorders. They didn't have keys per se, these guys. They just had the holes which you covered with your fingers. And apparently, you know, from town to town, where the holes were in the tube would change depending on how big the player's fingers were. So the tuning was always different from town to town because because it was so non-standardized. But it was in the 19th century when Theobald Boehm developed this system of keys. The Boehm system is what it's called. And he looked at where the holes needed to be in order for the instrument to play in tune, and he made it out of metal. Because, of course, the 19th century was when the Industrial Revolution happened, when things started to be made in factories and out of metal a lot more often, that kind of thing. So, in the 19th century, that's when this kind of flute, the metal flute, really started to take over. Nowadays, you can still find flute players who play wooden instruments. If you ever have the chance to, if you ever have the chance to go to the Christchurch Symphony Orchestra, they have a principal flute who, at least used to, play a wooden flute all the time, a black wooden flute. I think he's still playing that. And also one of the principal flutes from the Berlin Philharmonic, Andreas Blau, habitually played a black wooden flute as well. It does have a different sound, but nowadays we tend to play metal ones. Okay, anyway, that was just me going on a tangent, sorry. So we're looking at study number 27. Now, studies always are about testing you or giving you a chance to practice a particular aspect of music making, right? So this particular study is, you'll see it doesn't go higher than, oh, beg your pardon, it goes to an F at the very end. Most of the time it doesn't go that high. Most of the time it doesn't go higher than a D. That's what I was going to say. You'll also see that it is in 3/8. Now this is a time signature I don't think we've come across before, you and I. You might have come across it with other teachers. But yes, you will have heard of 6/8. You've heard of 9/8 and 12/8 as well. So 6/8 is one ender, two ender. 9/8 is one ender, two ender, three ender. There's 9 quavers split into 3 groups of 3 quavers, right? 12/8 is one ender, two ender, three ender, 4 ender. 3/8 is one ender, and that's it. That's the end of the bar. Okay. Now I'm just going to play the first little bit, and you can listen and follow along in your music. Okay? Cool. Here we go. So, one ender. Okay, cool. So that's kind of the idea you get. You can kind of hear it's got this kind of lilting kind of feel, which is kind of cool. You might also think it sounds a little bit like a waltz. Waltzes also are always in 3. Okay. Okay, so this is a good piece for practicing playing in 3/8. Now I want you to skip down to bar 49. Now, this is the bar with the semiquavers, the first time we see semiquavers, right? And it's back to piano. I'm just going to play this bit, right? So 3/8 means 3 quaver beats in a bar, right? We're going like one ender, one ender, one ender, one ender. So those 2 semiquavers need to fit within the space of one of these claps. Do 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 do. That's the idea. I'll play it now. One ender, one ender. See how those semiquavers work, right? And you can hear how fast they should really be. Cool. Now the only other thing I want to look at is that F major arpeggio going up at the end there, going up to the top F. Alright? Alright, practice your F major arpeggios for that. And in the very last bar, we have one of these. That's a pause, alright? A pause is... what is it? It's a note that you hold for a bit longer. Okay. If you were an orchestra and you played had to play a pause, you would play the note and look and hold it and look at the conductor, who will tell you when to stop the note. Alright? So you hold the note for as long as the conductor wants you to in an orchestra. Okie dokie. So that's study number 27, and I'd like you to look at that and just get used to that 3/8 feel. Alright? also get used to just playing a new piece that moves your fingers around. I also asked you to look at 76 trombones, which is in 6/8, right? So that's 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. I'm not sure what parts would be difficult for you, so I would really love it if you could reply to my email that includes the link to this class if you're having trouble with it, okay? So yeah, but really I think 76 trombones is pretty clear, and we looked at it in the last video class from last week, okay? So for homework, if you could look at study number 27. If you're having trouble with it, look at 76 trombones and email me for any questions. And lastly, I would really love it if you could do another performance video, or a performance video, okay? So, same deal as last time, please just choose any piece that you want. It doesn't have to be a piece that we've done in class. It can be a piece from last year that you've done with another teacher. I'd just like you to, in the video, introduce yourself, introduce the piece and its composer, and then play the piece. Okay, and this is just to practice performing. Okay. Unfortunately, the only way to get better at performing really is to perform. Alright. Okay, so I look forward to getting your performance videos. You can just email them directly to me. And if you have any questions, email me them as well. Alright. I will see you next week, whether that's in person or in a video class. We will reveal that mystery over the course of this week. Okay? See you, stay safe, go well, and happy playing.